Hey there, Ramble Force. Welcome to another episode of the Digital Ramble. My name's Kris Gamble, joined as always by my co-host in Houston, Texas, JJ Cannon. Hey, mate.
What's happening, Kris Gamble? Bro, where are you out? Where are you at? Are you busting out, busting in? Where are you?
I know. I've just got to get through this last wall. I'm knocking down barriers as usual. No, I'm still at work. You know, I'm on a commercial project today. We're doing some work in a local golf course, and as usual, I'd love to be finished at 5 p.m. and back home for my dinner, but I'm still at work.
Bro, your Instagram today is hilarious. I mean, you posted up some really cool pictures, and you got this one cat on there like blowing in a bag. You're showing a rack, and it's like, we've all been there. I mean, all our friends that are installers, you know what we're talking about. You get invited out to a client's house to do an assessment or like gamble, you know, you get the job, you pull that rack out and it's like, it's that emoji that's like, So, friends, y'all check out Gamble's Instagram at Customized One. You can also check us out at Digital Delight One. But man, it's great to see you. I really missed you last week.
I know. I'm really sorry about last week. It was literally at the final second before going live. I had to pull the plug and ended up missing the whole recording last week.
Right.
But we're back. We're back with more Q&A this week. Part 4, episode 29 is a continuation of our smart home Q&A with JJ and Kris from the Digital Ramble.
Yeah, answers to smart home questions we always get as installers. And some of these questions to installers might be like, oh, come on, guys. But you know what? Consumers ask these questions, and, you know, there's really not a stupid question. It's just something that you don't know that you need some answers to. And that's what Gamble and I were going to do. We're going to drop some answers on some questions that we get all the time.
Yeah, and we've been lucky to get more again this week, and the questions keep coming in. In fact, we're probably going to end up with a stockpile of questions that we might not get round to in this series, but we'll keep answering them on future episodes. We'll keep answering your questions. So keep getting in touch with the show.
Pop them in there. Drop them in a DM. Hit us up in the comments. You can find us all over the place. I mean, we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. I mean, our podcast is just fire.
Yeah. An underused way to get in touch with the show is Anchor. You can actually leave us a voice message and be a part of the podcast.
Oh man, that's
your contribution, and that's not just questions. If you're a homeowner that wants to tell us about your smart home, if you're a manufacturer of smart home technology and you want to tell our audience about the product and what it can do for their homes, get in touch, use Anchor, and leave us a voice message.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Gamble, you ready?
Let's go,
Mike. All right, Gamble. You know, our first question, actually, before I get into our first question, you know what I always like to do. Thank you, Patreons. We greatly appreciate your monthly contributions to the Digital Ramble. If you want to support this show, please go to patreon.com/the Digital Ramble and throw down at least $1. I mean, you could do $2. We'd love $10. We'd love a sponsor. But, hey, we'll take anything, and thank you for the Patreons that we do have. We greatly appreciate it. All right, question numero uno. Becca in Norwich. Can I use Amazon Echo speakers for multi-room music or surround sound? Go ahead on, Gamble.
So, everyone who knows where I'm from, I'm in Norwich, and this question came from one of our followers, a local followers to our social media platforms, and they had invested in Amazon speakers. They had Echo Dots. They had the larger Echo, I think the version 2, the nicer looking one. But they were looking at ways to improve their audio from their television. And they thought that they could maybe configure these micro speakers, larger speakers, and maybe create some pseudo surround sound setup. And unfortunately, you can't. The closest you can get to it is if your TV had some kind of Bluetooth option to Bluetooth to the speaker, or run some kind of audio cable, like a headphone jack, into the speaker. But if I'm being honest, it wouldn't sound very good. The difference in getting a dedicated sound bar, surround sound system would be so much better and wouldn't break the bank if you're tight on budget. Really, even a less than £200 may get you a suitable speaker just to improve that audio. If that's all you need, okay, you can spend a fortune on surround sound, but just to get that boost with a bit of bass, a little bit better on the on the dialogue of a program or a film or whatever you're watching, increasing the pleasure of gaming or watching sport, you're gonna have to spend a few quid on a surround sound speaker bar.
Yeah, man, it's like you don't know what you don't know. I mean, that we've talked about, seeking out a home technology professional. Finding somebody that does know, that has some experience. I mean, it wasn't a major investment for some Amazon Echo devices, not really. But whenever you have certain expectations on the return of what you want to try to accomplish, it's best to seek counsel from a professional prior to making that investment. The Amazon Echo is a device that's really excellent for voice control. Making things happen, accessing content. Maybe a little bit of audio here and there, but it's not for surround sound. It's not really, for me, the multi-room solution option. It's more for control.
What I will say though is there are surround sound options with the built-in voice assistant. We know and we both love the Sonos Beam. It's got Amazon Echo and hopefully soon in the UK, but it is in the US, the Google Assistant built into it. I know of other brands like Polk did one with Amazon Echo built in. So if you want a combined smart speaker plus surround sound, then that's an efficient purchase then. You're not having two devices plugged in and two control interfaces or apps or remote controls.
But again, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Find a home tech pro. Oh, I
Sure.
like that. You don't know what you don't know. Find a home
It's
tech
okay.
pro.
We're recording.
All right. Next question.
Okay, we're
August.
going.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
brother.
so appreciate August dropped us a question. I don't know which voice assistant to use. How do I decide between Siri, Alexa, and Google, and any other voice assistant that might be out there? How do they make the choice? It is a conundrum that homeowners face.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a little bit of flexibility in what you want to accomplish between the voice services. One thing about Madam A is you always have to dial up Madam A. You can't necessarily have an extended conversation, a natural conversation, and it's always like, Madam A, do this, or Madam A, what is this, or Madam A, and it just gets so redundant. Even in my household, it's like, one of those types of things. Whereas Google, you can start out with a question and then continue it as a natural conversation, which I like, and I am gravitating more towards. Siri, I've personally hooked up Siri to our Lutron lighting control solutions for a variety, for several clients, as well as in my house. I really kind of like how Siri works. I think you have a little bit more experience with Siri through HomeKit. So tell us what you're finding.
Just on the Alexa, sorry about that. Just on the Madam A voice control, you can enable a function now that you can follow up commands. So you have to enable it. It's in the Amazon Echo app for your voice assistant. So you can enable that to have a go with it. Siri is, for me, it understands the commands better than the others. I like the close proximity of Siri. It's on my wrist. It's in my phone. I'm not having to shout at a speaker necessarily across the room. I can press and initiate that communication with them rather than using a wake word, which is another advantage. I do like, press and hold that button on your iPhone and it brings up your voice assistant. And the argument might be to solve it is, what are the devices? What's compatible? You're not going to use Siri if you've got Nest because it doesn't work with it. But if you're using a lot of HomeKit devices, you would only use Siri. If you're using devices like Ring for your doorbell and cameras, you would probably gravitate more towards the Amazon Echo Assistant. It's it's about understanding the product, who they work best with. If you can find who they work best with, then make that decision. Then, like if it's Nest products, there's a good chance they're going to work best with Google. So and then stick to it, and maximize the features that they have and get to learn the functions of the voice assistant and string sentences together to get blinds and lights and heating and music all happening at once through a long voice command. But it's a lot of trial and error. I will say it's not something just to try it once, you don't like it, you stop using it. You've got to persist with voice control because it will bring huge efficiency.
And voice control still is an emerging, you know, technology, and as time continues to go on, and voice control will continue to improve. And so I'm still super excited about voice control. My family and I, we use it all of the time. Predominantly, it's Madame A controlling lights and fans and music selections and things like that.
So the next question's on voice control, JJ, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Dave from Southeast London, and he's asking, I want voice control, but I'm not confident in the security. Is there any other platforms that can provide me with confidence of security? And Gamble, honestly, we get this question all the time. We get people, thinking that Madam A or Google, they're listening all the time. And I wonder the same thing. Like, you know, how much do they know? I mean, they say they're only recording, a smidget of what that conversation is after that wake word, but you know. So there are other products out there. The one that I'm really digging on right now is josh.ai. And Josh clearly states, the manufacturer Josh clearly states that they do not track your data. They do not look at the commands. They do not sell your content to anybody. But in order to do that, it's a business, and it's a subscription based voice control service. And because it's a business, because it's voice control, they're subscription based. And so instead of them selling your data to stay in business, you're paying them on the front end to manage a quality voice control solution. And actually, the product's slick. It looks good. It works very reliably. It loves nulls, so it nulls all the pain.
Unfortunately, josh.ai isn't available in the UK, but I know the product well. We know some of the staff that are there and the hardworking team that they've got. And they're a startup. They're based in Denver, the beyond startup stage now, but they're still new in the technology arena. But they really have grown in popularity in the professional smart home installation industry. They've got a growing fan base within that. But what I like about them is they're now pushing forwards and working with some of the bigger, well-known brands like LG, like Lutron, Nest, Sonos. They're working with some of the biggest brands in electronics and pushing this enhanced privacy, secure data. But they're listening and they're working with the brands to produce voice control the way it should be done. And they were one of the first voice assistants I saw with this long form commands you could issue for climate and security and blinds and entertainment. And it was, at some stages, I always think it's ahead of the other three, is to put them in one bundle, but it's far more intelligent.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Gamble, one of the things that I appreciate about Josh.ai is their commitment to quality as well as service. Have you ever tried to call Google? Or have you tried to get a
No,
hold of Amazon?
no. I
And
will I will say that I don't have I have very rarely ever had to call them. I've called people like Nest and Sonos and have to say they've been excellent on the support. I've never had to phone Amazon.
Right. But that's one thing, that's one quality that I like about our custom channel and with Josh AI. If there's a problem, if there's a question, there is somebody that you can communicate with relatively very quickly to get whatever challenge you might have. And really be honest with you, I don't know of any challenges either.
No, and I will say that is a huge advantage, and some people see it as a disadvantage. But I like dealing with that smaller business who's more in
Personable.
tune. Yeah, it makes a difference, and a lot of people play down, how big's your business type thing. I think it's good to be small. It's good. It's good. In our industry as smart home pros, people try and big up that they're bigger than they are, or they have this many staff and this much vehicles and all this bravado. Hey, small is personal. Small is one to one. My customers like dealing with the business owner. They get the right answer. They don't have to wait. They get straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. I do know, man, because we operate just like that here in the States. We're a boutique, I guess, type custom operation, and we are personable with all of our clients, and a lot of our friends are boutique in custom installations. Our industry really is kind of a boutique type industry with a lot of professionals scattered around the world that do really good quality work that are focused on providing technology solutions that work together and fluidly. Um, and so, yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of similar to us. As long as you're not in a big box store, you're kind of boutique-y. All right,
Yeah.
brother, what do we got here?
Okay, we're going overseas again. Dubai.
Ooh,
It's a very
Dubai, man.
glamorous place to get a question from.
Oh, yeah.
I want to wall mount my TV, but I have no idea what fixings or bracket to use. Please help.
You
So
know,
you've wall
I
mounted a
would
lot of
imagine that
TVs in
the
your time.
build construction over there is a little bit similar to what you guys have. I doubt that it's sheetrock like us. I would think it's more.
I'd like to say there's a lot of concrete used over there. They've probably they've probably been had the wiring installed in conduit or some kind of ducting within the fabric of the building. Slightly different from the UK. We deal with such a mixed bag in the UK with period homes and new construction methods here. But it is about the wall. The wall's got a lot to do with it. Choose the fixing for the type of wall. Is it a concrete wall? Is there timber? Can you screw into any timber stud work of that wall? Is there a cavity and you need a special fixing that fixes into the plasterboard or the drywall? It's all about the wall construction, and then choosing a bracket that's suitable to the size of the TV, the weight of the TV, how you want the TV to position. Is it flat to the wall? Do you want it tilted?
Do you
Do you
want it
want it
to
to
come
move
out?
around? Do
Yeah.
you
Do
want to
you?
manually move it, or do you want to do it electronically, motorized? There's a lot of questions, and again, who's the best person to answer these questions? The trade or the tradesperson who's probably wall mounted hundreds of TVs. I'd take a guess, JJ, you've probably installed over 1,000 televisions minimum. I know
Minimum,
I
brother. 20 years in business this
yeah,
month. Thousands of TVs, brother. Oh,
and there's a slight difference to every TV wall mount.
none of them are the same.
Yeah, there's something behind the wall. There's a TV doesn't have you need different screws. You need to mount the TV to the bracket. Different heights, different brands of TVs. It's it's seen as quite a easy service, a TV wall mount, but you don't rush into it. You take your time. You measure twice. You check what's behind that wall, and I still think a TV wall mount is a job for a pro.
Hey, Gamble. Yeah, I have a funny story. Do y'all have toggles over there? Do y'all have
Yeah,
sheetrock or anything like that?
yeah.
And
That's
so
that's
toggles, for those that don't know, is like a spring loaded. So you drill a hole in the wall, and it's like a wing that you put through the hole, and it springs open on the backside of the sheetrock, and it's a one way type of fitting. And we went over to a client's house, and I'm looking at this TV, and it's just not looking right. I'm like, man, there's something wrong with this TV. It's just the bracket's not fitted up against this wall not correctly. And so I had my team take down that television, and I start, feeling the bracket, the plate that's mounted to the back of the wall, and all of a sudden the plate comes out of the wall. Bro, he put the toggles in reverse. He didn't, they didn't understand that, the toggles, when it springs open, it needs to spring open the correct way so that when you tighten it up, it sandwiches the bracket and the toggle onto the sheetrock, onto the studs. And so whenever he tightened it up, he tightened it up so that, oh my gosh, we got there just in time. And he was completely unaware. He just had a child. He and his wife had just had a baby, and that television was not mounted correctly. He was trying to save a couple of bucks. I can get that, but if you don't know, hire a home tech pro. Dude, I'm gonna drive that one home, brother. All right, Omar, thank you from Dubai. And by the way, Omar, I do travel. So.
Okay, we're back in the UK. We seem to have a good audience in the UK. We look at our stats every week, and a good chunk of our audience is UK. And so Ian is in London again. He's asking a question about audio quality. Do you get enough bass from in-ceiling speakers? So he'll have seen a lot of installations of ceiling speakers put in, probably connected to an amplifier like a Sonos or Denon or Yamaha, multi-room amplifier. And he's asking if there's enough bass, JJ, from these speakers.
There's never enough bass, brother. Honestly, it depends on the diaphragm of the speaker. It depends on the amplifier that you're using to push those speakers. There's a couple of different metrics that you got to, consider. It depends on the quality of product that you put together. I mean, it depends on the budget. So if you have a good amp, if you have a speaker that has a larger diaphragm, traditionally it's like a 6-inch diaphragm driver, 6 1/4, 8-inch. The larger the diaphragm, the more air that can be pushed and moved, and so the larger the diaphragm, the more bass that you can get out of that. But you also want a good amplifier that has a lot of power. And just because it says 200 watts, we get that you're not going to use 200 watts. But the more watts that you have, true watts, not not what's on the box. You got to really understand what the true watts are. But the more wattage that you have that you can push to those drivers, even though it's not at a high volume, the fuller sound, the richer the sound that you'll have. Also, acoustic treatment is also super important as well, because if it's a very ambient room, if you clap your hands and the audio's bouncing around all the room, regardless of how good the gear is in that room, it's just not gonna sound good, Ian. It's kind of a package deal.
Yeah, I would also say if bass is a must, then look at adding a subwoofer. Your amplifier is probably going to have a subwoofer output. Mm-hmm. If you've got some of these wireless multi-room systems, a lot of them have the option to add a wireless sub. We talk about the Sonos sub, and it's pair that up with a 2 or 4 in-ceiling speakers plus the wireless sub. Sounds great. You get that bass. You can move the subwoofer wherever you want in the room.
Yeah, flexibility.
But I will say, don't buy the cheapest speaker. Think about the acoustics of the room can make a difference. And we're not talking about acoustic treatments like wrapping the room in fabric and all this stuff, but rugs, soft furnishing, less hard surfaces can really make a difference to the sound. And look at the audio settings as well within your amp.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't know, call a pro. All right. I'm on to the next one. All right, next one we have from Tamara. How often should I have my audio video system serviced?
Okay. Well, we're not going to spend too long on this one because I'm conscious of our time and we've got to fit in a gamble ramble as well. But how often should you get it serviced? There should be some kind of service plan from your installation. You'd want to be looking at a minimum of an annual service. Larger systems, certainly 6 monthly. But you may have some updates. Hopefully they can be done remotely. Your pro should build up a schedule for you for that. But minimum 6 months or minimum a year, ideally 6 months on a larger system, I would say. But you got any other views on that, JJ?
Ditto that.
Yeah. Treat
Very
it like
good.
your vehicle or your your heating system, filters and things like that need changed and things need hoovered out. And nowadays it's a lot to do with updates.
Yes, firmware,
updates,
software,
yeah,
all that kind of good stuff. Sometimes you just need it might be resolution adjustments that you might need with a new device that you have plugged up, and you want to make sure that it's maximized. Something easy to do. All right, brother. Man, that was fun.
Yeah, no, we enjoy answering these questions, and I hope that we're hitting the points that you're wanting, and they're helping. And we just say, not just for this series, but any episode, if you leave a comment and there's a question in it, we'll answer it. We'll get back to you, and we'll either answer it on the show, or we'll do it in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. All right, Gamble. This week, we have the Gamble Ramble. You ready for it?
Always.
All right, here we go. Fire away.
Okay, so the Gamble Ramble is, again, drawing on experience from my day-to-day job and being out in people's homes and working on their technology. But every now and again, you're working on a project and you just feel this presence around. I'm not talking something supernatural or anything. I'm talking about they're watching you.
Yeah.
The customer is hovering. And I just want to say, don't hover. Let the pro get on with his work. He will work much, much faster, or she will work much, much faster without your good intentions, yes, but they don't need your input. Unless they need you, then let them get on. If I need the customer, I'll find them, I'll ask them, can you confirm this height? Are you happy with this position? Just to double check this is the right product for this room. I will ask you the question, or my team will ask you the question, but I don't need you sat in the room almost like a parrot on my shoulder interrogating me about this installation and then every other tech question that you've saved up for the last decade. That don't keep bringing stuff in front of me and saying, can you get this to work? How does this work? Can you look at my printer? Can you how do I block the kids from getting on this content? I'm probably there to do something like your lighting system. Didn't really come to do printers, parental filters on apps, and look at your programming of your hot water schedule. I can do all these things, but I don't really need to do them when I'm trying to do your lighting or your music or your Wi-Fi. So please don't hover. Let any tradesperson get on with their work. They're there. They're trusted professionals. You found them. You hopefully did all your due diligence, and you've got an excellent professional in your home. Let them get on with their work.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm just laughing internally because I've been in that same position before, Gamble, and you just it's not what did you say? It's not the spirits in the room.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know. And then the bill comes and they're like, you didn't do 5 hours. I know. I did 2 hours and then 3 hours of Q&A.
Yeah. Just send your questions to the show.
Oh my gosh. Like, how do I protect the content on my kid's wireless device? Episode 13.
Yeah.
Gamble, you know what, man? It was fun. Next week, what are we doing next week?
It's part 5 it's the end of this season. We're going to shift gears after part 5 and bring in season 5. So, and what it's doing is it's drawing us ever closer to the big, end of August, early September, when we go into full CEDIA Expo mode. We've got one more season in between then. But
Ooh, man,
next
I'm
week,
so excited about that too.
Next week, part 5 of the Smart Home Q&A. Send your questions in on email, DM, Facebook Messenger, in the comments. You know how to get in touch with the show now, and we really appreciate the participation we've had in this season so far.
Yeah, friends, thank you so much for your support. Like, share, subscribe. Tell everybody. We're trying to grow this show. And Gamble, it is wonderful seeing you again. Try to break out or break in wherever you're at, and have a great week.
I'm surprised one of my guys hasn't drilled through the wall. I'll go pull this cable through.
Hey, Gamble, since you're out there, grab this wire.
Yeah.
All right, brother, you take care. Be safe. And until next week, have a great week. I need to oil this chair. Every month, the Digital Ramble will receive a regular source of income from supporters who've pledged through Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, having your ongoing support means we spend less time thinking about business and more time creating quality content for you.
Customized, based in Norfolk, England, are proud sponsors of the Digital Ramble. Check out our all set up services. It's smart home installation with ease. Customize.uk.com.
If you're looking to make your basic home smart, check out digitaldelight.com/shop, where they have a variety of different smart home technology solutions that help make smart home shopping easy for you. Check out digitaldelight.com/shop.